the devices of the enemy are becoming more and more transparent. It's not so, I would say, deceptive anymore, because deception involves a level of truth, but mixed in with some falseness to get you. But now it seems like it's so much more transparent that, I guess, and to me, that's something I also wanted to talk about too, is because how do you think you can have such success being so obvious? Like, why do you think that is?
You are now listening to the HYP Podcast, a platform dedicated to discussing millennial culture and experience through a Christian lens, redefining who we are with cultural excellence and as children of the Most High, cultivating thought-provoking discussion and spreading the word of God with love. Hold your point.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Peace to the planet. This is the Hold Your Point Podcast. We are the Hold Your Point Podcast crew. And on our platform, we talk about Christian and millennial culture through a Christian lens. I chopped and screwed that one up a little bit. My name is Fortunato. We got the usual suspects in the house. We got DTH, DJ, Michael Joseph, and Lee Strauss with the microdice going. What's happening, fellas?
Hey. What's up, y'all? What's up?
How y'all feeling, man?
Feeling good. New hair, new me. I already know how it's going to stop.
And he froze.
Started picking dreads. We got a new hairstyle. So we feeling good.
Yeah,
new man.
That's like the supercuts that they say, get in, get confident. That's the slogan, man. When you get a new haircut,
he looking like Sinclair off of Living Color. Was it Sinclair, the dark skinned brother?
Living single.
Living single.
Make jokes.
Living Color. I look good.
For that
Oh man,
how y'all doing, man? What's up?
It's good, man. Good to see y'all.
Man.
Good to hang out with everybody again. Chop it up.
We just recently dropped episode 40, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the guys. It's been a long, treacherous road to this point. You know what I'm saying? But we here.
Yeah, man.
Episode 41, episode 40 just dropped.
Hey, let's do it.
Absolutely, man.
We got some good stuff.
Doing big things. So, yeah, man. So look, we're gonna jump into this segment really quick. So just a disclaimer, right? So we want to talk about this new clip that we saw from Celine Dion. Y'all know her as the singer of My Heart Will Go On, from the Titanic and all that stuff. But she's been getting into the whole fashion space. She has a new clothing line now, and it's specifically for children. So we saw this, and there's a lot of buzz going on about it. This is her. We're gonna play this clip. It's a promo for her clothing line for the kids. So just watch this.
It's okay. I'm Celine Dion. Our children, they are not really our children, as we are all just links in a never-ending chain that is life. For us, they are everything. But in reality, we are only a fraction of their universe. We miss the past. They dream of tomorrow. We may thrust them forward into the future, but the course will always be theirs to choose. I can't believe they called security. I mean, come on, I'm Celine Dion. I'm not spending the night in jail. Holy shit. Guys, relax, easy. I'm Celine Dion.
Yeah, girl, and I'm Beyonce.
I'm calling my agent.
That's crazy.
Hey, so
you gotta explain to the people listening what we just saw a little bit.
Yeah, so for y'all that are just listening in, not on the YouTube, although you should check that out, go ahead and like and subscribe to that as well. We appreciate it. Essentially, she's in a hospital and she's looking at the babies, and they made a very strong point to make a distinction by showing the colors pink and blue, pink for the girls, blue for the boys. But then she comes in and she blows some kind of magic fairy dust on them that's black, and then the pink and the blue disappear. Every baby's in the same color, and she has like this plus symbol. I guess that's kind of her logo. But there's no more pink or blue, symbolizing no more girl or boy. It's just all one thing. And then, you know, she had one of the babies, they had these very weird symbols on it. One of them said New Order, kind of like New World Order. So just a lot of really weird stuff going on there. So what's up? And
I mean, it's crazy like how they continue to push this stuff in your face. And I think like, I don't know if she's had relationships with Marina Abramovich. I'm not sure if she's a part of that, because I know Lady Gaga had relationships with Marina Abramovich, and she was also a part of the Jay-Z piece too. And as we know, like, she's a Satanist, and she's all in the part of the designing and that culture of designers and stuff. So it's, you know, it just seems like more and more of this is being connected and thrown right in our faces.
Yeah, I mean, man. Yo, you could definitely see like a lot of stuff that's going on around the world, a lot of stuff that's happening. Like, it's just getting crazier and crazier. It just seems like they're getting bolder and bolder with it. Like, this is that too. Like, and it's like, yo, like, how can this even like be allowed in some ways? Like, it's just, to me, the whole commercial was weird. You know, it was just a little awkward. I didn't even understand it at first. Like, why is this a little clothing commercial? Like, why is this a clothing commercial at all? Like, period.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they have a bunch of kids like in the commercial, and it kind of seemed like she was on her way to like murder somebody. It was very weird, for sure, very weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like she was dressed in all black, and then like the clothing line is for children specifically. So like it's not for adults. I guess it's young children to babies. So it's, I mean, you know.
Well, that's what she was trying to say. This whole time, I thought it was a preview to a movie. Nah, man, look, man,
kind of dark horror movie. Like,
here's the thing: all these companies are just basically trying to push the envelope, piece by piece, by year, century by century, as time goes on. You know, like you gotta understand something. There's different things that sell. There's different things that attract people. There's no longer, like you guys said, pink and blue anymore. The new color for babies now, most mothers, they're buying neutral brand stuff. Colors that are neutral. Because they don't want to genderfy their child. They don't think their child should play with dolls. They don't think, if they're a girl, they don't think that their child should, if they're a boy, they should play with, you know, action figures. They want them to have their own, you know what I'm saying? Which is okay. But I think how they're doing it is taking away gender specifications, like colors and blues and stuff like that. So, you know, like it's at the end of the day, we are blinded as people, because a lot of these things that we will sit there and say, oh, that's nice, and I think like if it's not sex that's gonna sell, they're gonna try to pursue like new mothers. And this is what's going on right now.
And the thing is who sits down and like, okay, we're gonna promote this brand or this clothing line, but this is the way that we're gonna tailor the design or the concepts for the commercial, with her breaking into a maternity wing in the middle of the dark or the middle of the night where it seems like there was no power, and then like she's blowing black crosses out, what it seems like black crosses amongst all the babies that were sitting in there. Like, and you know, it's just ridiculous. And then there's two more things I wanted to say too, because like I seen this one thing where it said, you know, they're allowing children to make the distinction on whether they want to be a boy or a girl. But there was a father who got crucified for taking his 9-year-old to Hooters for his birthday. And, you know, because they're saying, so now they're saying like, so it's okay for you to identify as a girl, but it's not okay for you to like girls at an early age if you're a boy, man, which is crazy.
Busting though, man. You know what I'm talking about, Hooters?
And then the other thing I seen too is like, I forgot the guy's name. Like he was like an actor or whatever, and he's been talking about a whole lot of truth and trying to uncover like stuff that's going on. But he said something that was really, really important that kind of stood out to me. He was like, with these people, like these satanic people, like the way that they think about it is like if you're selling apples, right? If you were selling apples and they were poisonous and you conceal that, then you're responsible. But if they set up a stand and said these are poisonous apples and you buy it, then they're no longer responsible because you knew exactly what it was that you were getting into, even though they were poisonous apples. And it's like, that's what they're continuously kind of doing. Like they're showing you like, this is what we are about. And, you know, allowing you to kind of make the distinction of trying to tap into it instead of trying to conceal it. It's crazy.
For sure. Wow. Yeah, man. Wow. But that's what's happening in the fashion industry, man. A lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. I know we're about to get into it, but there's a whole Balenciaga scandal, you know, that's been going on. I mean, shoot. And that's just a part of it. That's just a part of this whole, like, agenda I feel like is being pushed. And honestly, children are the target. Children are the target. Like, I mean, if you think about it, the devil's going to target children. Not that, you know, the elderly or people, you know, of age can't experience problems either, but you know, the devil is going to target children. He's going to target the youth. He's going to target young people because that's where he knows if he can get, then it's over.
Well, yeah, there's a reason why they're targeting the new generation. This generation, you know, we know what's up, you know what I'm saying? But if you slowly persuade two boys kissing on the Disney Channel, they're going to grow up and think in a new society that's okay for two boys to kiss on the, you know what I'm saying? I remember Raven Simone, she had an opportunity to do a new show and she declined it. And I'm sure this is millions of dollars because they wanted the new, That's So Raven show.
They wanted to be part of the LGBT community.
Yeah, and she completely turned it down. You know what I'm saying? So who watches Disney Channel? Who buys most of these expensive stuff? You know what I'm saying? Not the modern age, you know, person that's in their 40s or 30s, later 30s. It's the younger generation. So if we can persuade them, we can persuade generations to come, is what the goal is.
Yeah. I'll just say this, and then we probably can, you know, put a wrap on the segment. I have no problem with you choosing to be whatever lane you want to be on, but I feel like we should not try to confuse the young folks coming up, though. If a boy is born a boy, let him be a boy. Like, don't say like you can choose to be whoever you want. That's how you kind of just create confusion. Like, nah, he's a boy. Like he's born with testosterone and born with, you know what I'm saying, the other parts. Like God made him as a man. You know what I'm saying? And just like a female. So like I feel like we should not confuse. And the thing is, here's the thing, man, like the TV, the YouTube, everything that's out here is just continually just throw confusion at the youth, man. Like it's crazy. I mean, we're just watching this, you know, nice little movie, the game or whatever, and then I just see a commercial just pop up and it's like, whoa, okay, all right, okay. That's what we on. So it's just different times now, man.
And then I don't know if y'all seen that skit from Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish when they did that little sexual child abuse skit or whatever that kind of blew up, and there was like, I don't know if y'all seen it. It was like I don't have.
What it's all about?
Well, might be. Yeah, but it like I don't know. Like if y'all seen it, like I don't understand. Like who thought that was a good idea to even portray in a comedic fashion? Like it was really, really cringeworthy. And it's like the fact, and I haven't seen Tiffany Haddish or Aries Spears do nothing since like this kind of popped out, but it's just like, dog. Oh, yeah. And then even to DJ's point with the commercials and stuff, like, I mean, not for nothing, but you know, all I continue to see when these commercials come up is black men or minorities. And I can't count how many times I've seen like two white males in a commercial portraying, you know, those things. Not to say we have anything against the LGBTQS community or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, the depiction of what we see often is a lot of times the minorities. Like, it's never two, like, white American males, like, in a standoff. But, I digress.
Yeah.
It's just crazy all around.
Yeah, all this stuff, I think, ties into the main topic. So let's hop into it. Who's going to give a synopsis for everybody?
Well, so my first question, because we're kind of talking about Balenciaga. It's Fashion Week on Hold Your Point podcast. Hence the cool piece I got on. Shout out to T.I., the Black owners. You know what I'm saying? But
T.I. on that.
Yeah, T.I. own it. At least majority own it. I hope so. That's what he say. But so we talking a little bit about like what we've seen lately in the Balenciaga scandal, and some of the ads that kind of hit the news that people are not okay with, and just kind of digging a little deeper, because from that ad that kind of popped up, there's a lot of like subtle images that they used within those ads that people didn't probably see right away, but once you freeze frame and start breaking it up, like, it's a lot of different things going on with this Balenciaga piece. So we're gonna dive into it a little bit to see if we can kind of uncover some of what's happening and what they're trying to push in our faces. But the first question I wanted to ask y'all really quick is, do y'all know what Balenciaga means in Latin?
I don't speak Latin.
Educate.
I know what it means. I
don't speak Latin, but
you're gonna tell us anyway. So go ahead and tell us.
Hold on.
Oh, DJ,
I know what it means. I gotta think. Do as you want, or how does it
do
go?
what thou will.
Do what thou will.
Oh, I heard that.
And y'all know where that comes from?
Well, hold on. Before you go there, I want to say, because we're talking about the whole Balenciaga thing, right? So there's the whole, like you said, the promos they got out there, and I saw it was kind of written, right? So I looked it up. Something I saw was like, it's not as conclusive. It's almost like you kind of have to stretch to make it do that, but it could be just one site. Sometimes it's really hard to know. But I mean, there's no doubt about like the promo. It definitely said BAAL or BAAL, right? BAAL. I'm just saying the whole phrase Balenciaga, if you break it up, what does it actually mean? Like I said, I saw something else. I was like, it's kind of a stretch to make it. But if it does say do what thou will, then, that's very interesting, because I do know where it comes from. So
where does it come from, sir?
So there's a name out there y'all are probably familiar with, which is Aleister Crowley. And so this man is a very evil man. That's just the way I got to put it.
I don't think he's alive no more.
Well, yeah. This guy comes from early 1900s, I believe. But he basically started the Church of Satan. And they have their own literature, and I believe they have their own Bible, quote unquote, with that they follow. And I believe that phrase is like basically that
was the name of the Bible.
Their mantra.
That's the name of it? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's basically the whole thing. Do what thou will, that shall be the whole of the law.
So Balenciaga's devil clothes?
Well, I'm not gonna say that, because I actually did a little bit of my homework. I kind of agree with DGH said. It might be a little bit of a stretch, because the clothing brand was actually created like way back in the day, like early 1900s, and it was created by Christopher Balenciaga, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was his last name. So you know what I'm saying. Right. So it's like I don't think so. I think it just so happens to be a coincidence with the Balenciaga, but the mind of some people are so evil that they said, what can we do with this name, this Balenciaga name, to put our agenda out there? So then, it's one thing we got to realize, like some people know the word of God even better than us, right? The evildoers, right? They even know it better than us. So they were like, well, there's a guy in the Bible named Baal, right? Or Baal, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. Baal.
There's different ways in which people pronounce it. Baal. So they was like, all right, well, let's manipulate this name right here. Boom. So I think that's what kind of happened, is that they just tried to figure something out with this name and put it all together with their agenda.
Yeah, facts. Because even like Aleister Crowley, like, I don't know if he referred to himself or the followers referred to him as the beast that was talked about in Revelation. Yeah.
Oh, and self-proclaimed that.
He self-proclaimed that he was a beast. Yeah. So, and and all of this, like a lot of the ritualistic things that they kind of talked about or whatever, like some of these high fashion designers are depicting these same types of things in like pictures that they post on their Instagram or, whatever it is. So it's like, yeah, the last name, like DJ said, could have been a coincidence based on it being, just the last name of the designer. But like all of everything else is tied together with like this, satanic type of ritual. And it's into the fashion design, which is so crazy. I mean, because we already know like where the elements of music goes as far as like, how it pulls and whatever and all of that good stuff. But to see it like so like wovenly, no pun intended, intertwined with fashion is like next level. Cause I remember, like, I don't know if y'all remember a few years ago when those when the upside down crosses started being big on clothes and people started wearing the little shirts and stuff with a whole bunch of crosses on it. And at first it was like, I was like, what in the world? But then it's like, after a while, it's like people just get desensitized to it because they've produced so much.
That's a lot.
There's stuff been.
Let's talk about the whole Balenciaga situation and what happened though. Just going back from reference with it. I'm not gonna go ahead, Leo.
You was already mid call.
Go ahead, he's delayed. I didn't hear him talk. No, like the whole. Okay, how it started is basically off of a photographer that was basically taking pictures of different children and what their most valuable thing was to them, and that was the original idea of the photographer. So you have a clothing brand and you have a photographer, which is the artist. The clothing brand hires a photographer because they like the artist and what they put out. So what they did now is they're including this whole set and these different props from this line that they're having around whatever they're releasing. And in this, just to go back to Fortunato's point, they're slowly introducing these small things. And what was introduced was this teddy bear with Salation different
BDSM stuff on it.
Yeah, it's different stuff like that. Now let's talk about it. In order for a clothing brand to release something, it has to go through a whole marketing department. It's not just one guy.
Exactly.
Even with this whole Celine Dion movie she just put out, it wasn't just her and some guy with the camera phone. It was a whole production. Like she probably had, different studio, all these effects. So once it gets released, then you have somebody who has a final word that's up above that says, hey, all right, let's go ahead and push it out. Right. You know what I'm saying? And there's nobody in the room. I'm pretty sure there's somebody in the room with conscience say, look, man, this is wrong. This is too salacious. Let's push it because it's grimy. Sex sells. It's drugs. It's wrong. If it's wrong, people are going to buy it. And that's where the misconception, the blindness comes from.
True. You hit it right on the head because that's exactly what I was saying. Like, how can a whole clothing line company, and they have a whole team, like you said, the amount of eyes that are looking on these things, the amount of people that review these things is, to let that go through is clearly a big oversight and also a clear intent. Like there has to be an intent behind that because, there has to be an intent behind putting up those wrong things. And I thought DJ made a good point earlier when he said, the devil definitely knows the word. The devil definitely sometimes knows the scripture, sometimes even better than we can sometimes. And just as an illustration of that, the Bible talks about train up a child in the way that he should go and he should never depart from it, right? You could see that devil is actually taking that principle and using it for bad, and just so that he can, fulfill his purpose, and you could see that, like, He's literally trying to train up children, or in this sense, trying to introduce different ideas, different stuff to children that they, should not be introduced to at the age that they are, or even period in some instances. And it's just it gives a bad. It's a terrible look for one, and it's a wrong intent. It has to be a clear intent, I think. Like I said,
but and that goes back to the whole poison apples. Like, they selling you poison apples, so you know that it's poisonous. They don't want you to think that these apples are not poisonous. No, these are poisonous apples. But we want you to be comfortable with the fact that we're going to continue to sell poisonous apples.
I hear you. I hear you. Actually, no, Lee, that was a really good nugget you just dropped there, because, like you said, Satan definitely knows the Bible, and he's using that principle for his own means. And I think he knows the easiest way to get people is when they're young. So that was a really good point. But I pushed back a little bit, Fortunato, on the idea that they're poison apples. Because the thing is, in the climate we're in today, things are so subjective, meaning people don't believe in objective reality anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's my truth versus your truth. What's true for me may not be true for you. So in that sense, while it may be plain that it's poison to people like you and me, these people out there are looking at it like, for example, you talk about upside down crosses. That's blatantly contrary. Yeah, blasphemous, right? But like you said, people eating it up, and you telling me, I mean, are they so depraved? Like, are they purposefully trying to like stick it to God, so to speak, or are they just unaware? Because
it's a sense of rebelliousness, so they can feel like it's excitement, rebelliousness, excitement.
Go ahead, Mike. My bad. Yeah, well, two things, because like I don't know if y'all seen that Disney clip, and how they have like in this Santa Claus movie where there's a clip where the kids formulate the letters and it says "I love you, Satan."
Oh, I saw that.
So yeah, I mean, like, and then there's another thing I seen where like these Satanists were like, offering people to be unbaptized. Like they're pushing this whole campaign where you can come and be unbaptized. So it's like, I don't even know how subjective it is. Like, I really feel like to a certain extent, like it's all about money at the end of the day for the people at the very top. And, the people at the top, like they don't have what we have, I guess, as far as like the hope and, what I'm saying, the level of spirituality. So money don't make the moves happen.
I'll say this. We gotta understand, like, everybody has their own agenda, right? There will always and forever be a constant tug of war between good and evil, right? That's just pretty much how it's been from the beginning of time. Last week, over the weekend, I was rereading Matthew, the beginning of Matthew, and remember baby Jesus when he came to the earth? King Herod was trying to kill one man, right? It's because like touching back on what I said before, it's like they have King Herod like didn't want what he had to be messed up. He knew what the revelation was. Like he knew what the prophet was saying about what's going on with Jesus, right? So he's like, nah. I gotta get rid of this guy. Like I know what's to come, but it's about me. I can't have him mess up what I got going on. So we have to realize like there's always gonna be that evil, and it's their job, just like it's our job to promote love and promote God in the earth. It's their job to remove that and promote the evil, because misery loves company, right?
Yes.
So I was just about to say that.
Own, right?
I was just about to say that.
So it's like, all right,
it's a whole market employ. Yeah, it's like, come get these stimulus checks. You know what I'm saying? We gonna pass them out, spend out what you want to spend, and boom, here come the inflation. Now you broke and you ain't got it. It's almost the same concept. Boom. And then like to that point,
people hard with that, man. Chill out.
To that point too, though, like there's a statue in Switzerland of this giant eating like a child, and it's like no one knows like where it was created, where it came from, why it's there. And we're not going to touch on the Switzerland piece. I think we got to do that in a whole nother episode.
That's next.
But I wanted to ask y'all though, why do y'all think like as DTA said, why do y'all think like BAAL was included in the ad? Like even in the because it was on the caution tape that said BAAL, but why do y'all think it was included in the ad? Like, what's the connection?
I mean, for me, I'll say I think they're just trying to draw upon this false god that was worshipped from back in the day. He was quite popular, and I guess he still is. I mean, I don't think it's as out in the open, or at least up until now, that people are still worshiping this false god. But to Lee's point, the devices of the enemy are becoming more and more transparent. It's not so, I would say, deceptive anymore, because deception involves a level of truth, but mixed in with some falseness to get you. But now it seems like it's so much more transparent that, I guess, and to me, that's something I also wanted to talk about too, is because how do you think you can have such success being so obvious? Like, why do you think that is? Because for me, I'm just obviously people's hearts are in a place where they're ready to receive it. So like, it's almost like, are you mad at the one who's, it's like, what's the saying? Like, shame, if someone does you wrong, shame on them, shame me, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Like, okay, if you didn't know something, that's, that person who did you wrong, you shouldn't have done that. But I mean, it's almost as if people are welcoming these kinds of things. Like, so
yeah, for sure.
You think this really hurt Balenciaga and all these brands?
That's exactly what I want to bring up. I think in an instance like this, so that's one thing I want to bring up. Some of them, honestly, I don't even think some of them really believe in the devilish thing. In some of them, now that doesn't absolve them from promoting it and all that. They're still guilty of that stuff. But I don't even think someone believe it. I think it's, like we said earlier, it has to do with money. It comes down to money and attention. And based on this, they know
it's reverse psychology.
Yeah, they know based off this thing. If they say this, they gonna blow up. They know they know if they do this, everyone's gonna talk about it. There's gonna be more eyes on them, and now that there's more eyes on them, that means there's gonna be more money coming their way, because that's what happens every time. Attention just simply brings, in that instance, attention brings money, brings fame, brings that kind of stuff in this world that we live in,
And it's almost like with the. Go ahead.
No, just to emphasize on what you guys are saying, it's like almost like people are drawn to the wrong things, which we already know. Because there's this documentary on Netflix it's something about God, and it was saying I forgot the name. I'm trying to remember, but it was basically referencing to God was a homosexual. Now, once word got out, that was the most watched documentary because of just that one part. Now you gotta watch the rest of it. I don't condone. I don't agree with the documentary at all. But it's like, okay, what can we do to get people talking about it, generating conversation? This ain't hurting Balenciaga. Like, they really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Who they offended or anything like that. At the end of the day,
it's definitely going to go down, though.
People are talking
about it, but I think so.
I think ultimately it's bringing more awareness to the brand. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's bringing more awareness. And I think it's almost like the same thing with the music, like how we've heard it over and over and over and over again. Like, some of these bigger artists made sacrifices spiritually to get to where they are. And it's like, and the reasons why is because, like, people, like Lee Strauss said, like, it's all about like power and money and position. And it's like some people are so like desperate for success that they willing to sell their soul, cut off their right hand for it. Yeah. And it's like, and when these things come, now it's like they didn't fully understand all of the stuff that came behind it, some of them. And then, others just kind of fall in line and just paint the picture. Cause it's like, I mean, not for nothing. Like, I think Jay-Z is an incredible artist, but like the whole thing's like always been like questionable for me. Is
it ever going to be for something? I wonder.
But I'm just saying though, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the J Hove thing has always been a little questionable. And then, you know, just constantly throwing up the triangles, which, you know, it's clearly like not a diamond, not related to Rockefeller from the beginning. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Those little pieces and stuff like that. But the other piece though with BAAL.
I actually wanted to. I don't think nobody really answered your question about.
That's what I was about to circle back to. Yeah.
Sorry.
But
Sorry,
I mean,
but
I mean, as far as the way that I see it, I think probably the reason why they decide to use BAAL is, I mean, you kind of have to do your homework to see what this guy, what this, what do you call it?
Deity.
Deity is really about, right? So he was believed to be a deity of fertility.
Come on, Pastor J.
Right. So a lot of, just like Levi said, a lot of people back in the day was worshiping this person, and it was making sacrifices, child sacrifices. And there's actually a scripture that I wanted to read, which is in Jeremiah. Okay, so I'm going to read Jeremiah 31, right?
7?
Okay, so
Jeremiah 7:31, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Jeremiah 7:31. And they have built the high places of Tophet, which is in the valley of Son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, nor did it come into my heart. So it's just very interesting that, you know, it's crazy. Why would you want to burn your own kids? Like, it's just fascinating me. But it just lets you know, once you leave the glory of God, once you leave the kingdom of God, once you leave that and you just go and, you know, anything is just going to capture you, and to the point where you're willing to burn your own children, right? Which is very interesting. And I think what's happening now is that there's a surgence. I don't know what the percentage is here, but now people are taking other people's kids, right? And sacrificing their kids and selling them off to like sexual evilness, and it's just crazy right now, man. So we for sure got to stay prayed up on the kids. But in my opinion, that's what I think why they was using the BAAL is because all this is tied up to the youth, man. All this is tied together with children.
Well, yeah, and we're not talking about the Ball family, Lonzo Ball, and none of them. We talking about BAAL. Yeah. But I mean, even to that point though, like, because it's also been said that BAAL is a title for master or lord. So it's like really like, and you look back to it, it's Molech. Molech was an actual deity that was, you know, of fertility and sacrificing children and stuff, and he had the title of BAAL. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, none of this stuff is a coincidence. Like, you think they're gonna put BDSM and children being tied up, and then, you know, all these different things, and then attribute it to BAAL just coincidentally, so they can sell a few extra pairs of shoes or clothes? Like, did y'all? I don't know if y'all saw the fashion run or week or whatever that Balenciaga had set up, and how those people was like looking grungy and walking through the mud with these ugly clothes on, and it's like, who wears this crap for real?
Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. But even there's a narrative behind it, and like even the whole set with the photographer, you know, there's a picture of supposedly a lawsuit that happened with children and child pornography. Now, why is this one document with a lawsuit of child pornography? What does that have to do with fashion?
Right.
See what I'm saying? There's a narrative behind it.
You know what's crazy as you say that? It's because I wrote this down. Balenciaga is actually owned by the Pinot family. I guess it's like a corporation or whatever, right? And they purchased this business. I think that's how they amounted their wealth. Actually, they just bought a bunch of different businesses from my understanding. So they purchased this company back in 2000, right? And one thing that this Pinot family also owns, which is weird, like the whole thing is just weird. The whole thing is just weird. They own this company that sells childlike sex dolls, where it is like like this one like kid had like a man's thing on his nose. It's just weird, bro. And that same company that owns Balenciaga owns that company that sells childlike sex. Yeah.
And not only do they own that company, but they also own Gucci and they also own YSL brands. Mm-hmm. So it's like these three big brands, Balenciaga, Gucci, and Yves Saint Laurent, is all owned by the same people. And it's like, which leads me to the other question too, is like, why are like all of the black celebrities in hip hop culture, like anytime you see them stepping, it's always Balenciaga, Gucci, or Yves Saint Laurent that they got on for the most part. Like,
or it's True Religion.
Well, for the most part. It's not even True Religion no more. True Religion was like 2005. Like,
yeah, they don't wear that.
Back in it, I thought you said Ed Hardy, but
no, show your age, man.
No, for real. Yeah, I could have said FUBU, but hey, listen, it's all the expensive brands. It's what they want to show. Okay, what is hard to get. You know what I'm saying? You can't just walk up in any mall and just get no Balenciaga shoes or anything like that. So they're trying to. They're not look. Half these outfits that these people be wearing, I'm sure they themselves ain't really feeling it. That's just my opinion. Because the way it look like something out of space, or they homeless or something like that. But the price tag behind it, if they could rock the price tag, is what they really want to show off.
It's just
like let me tell you something. My son, right, going back to school. Dad, can you give me a Louis Vuitton belt? I said, for what? Oh, we got Tucker shirts in now. I'm like, a Louis Vuitton belt? I could go to Walmart and buy you a simple belt for $10. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be just as hard and strong. But no, he wants a Louis Vuitton belt. Something to say LV to show it off. And that's the point. It's
you
just...
got style now.
Yeah.
Get it from him, daddy.
You just want to show the swag and the LV and the brand. And it's just because the next man can't afford it.
Well... Listen to this.
I grew up in Payless. I was fine with it. You know what I mean?
You ain't grow up in no Payless.
I grew up in some Payless.
You know good or well you was the blessed.
Listen, Payless shoes ain't got no grip. It make you fall and bust your lip. That's my motto, man.
Wow.
I've been trying to trick us for years. But listen, John chapter 3, verse 19, right? This is the condemnation that light is come into the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. So the thing is, I see it as, okay, yeah, they want to show that they got stuff that you don't have, right? So even Kanye said, what did he say? I got me a rollie or something just to say that you ain't up on this, right? Like that's part of it. But I think too, it's just this rebellion, man, because people it's all about individuality, right? And that's the thing. Like, if you don't find your place in Christ, like yourself has to die for the sake of Christ. Like, you got to be joined to that. That's where your identity should be lying. But if that's not it, you all for yourself. So
man can't serve two gods.
You can't. And the thing is, it's like, okay, you can get the clothes and everything, but like I said, I think people want to show their individuality, and I think these brands kind of help people do that. You know, the price tag helps because they're able to afford something that other people can't. And then people who really can't afford it are scratching and clawing just so that they can try and get it.
That's what I was about to get to.
Try to stun on the people who's next to them, who's in the same situation as them.
Like people,
because that's because that's the thing though. Like, you know, we kind of forget like how much, you know, money black people spend. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they've done the research on it, and you know the black dollar is strong, but like to DTH's point, like from what they've said, we got to verify the numbers, but you know, as far as Mercedes-Benz sales go, it's mostly black African American people from what they said, and it's a symbol of status to say like, okay, you know, I've made it or I got something. And even with the Balenciaga and Gucci and stuff, like like it's not even to say that they can't get it, because they'll go out their way to get it. And then when Classic Weekend comes up in Orlando, or it's a festival in Miami or something, and all the young black folks that's on the hip hop culture is gonna be stepping right there in the same Balenciaga, same Gucci, same whatever. They probably ain't paid their rent or their car note, or they, you know what I'm saying, but they're gonna make sure that they're gonna step. And it's like, and that's the thing, like the people, I mean, these people do not support our agendas. They don't are not for us, but we continue to be their promoters. And then in turn we have,
remember?
Man.
Remember one of them was like, I don't want black people to wear my clothing or something. Was it him?
Tommy Hill.
Yeah, that was Tommy Hilfiger.
Was that Tommy Hilfiger? I didn't make my clothes for black people.
Yeah, that was him on Oprah, I believe, some years ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But to your point, Fortunato, right? If they have the money they're gonna show up in the Balenciaga and Gucci and all this stuff, but they can't pay rent. They don't have a pencil for class, all that stuff. I mean,
go to class.
The thing is, it's like, if it's so, this goes back to what I was saying with, okay, you said the people, they don't support us. They don't support our communities and things like that. These clothing companies and everything. So why are we supporting them to this degree? It's because they want to do it. So my thing is, it's like the fault is on the people who trying to, they're just so lost. Like I'm not of the mindset of blaming it on. There's a level that you can say, okay, past trauma, we lost our history, so we're grabbing for stuff because a status symbol, you say, right? Like, oh well, we never had anything, so that's just our way of trying to. There's a level of that I understand, but how is it that other black people don't do it, right? Because it's not everyone. First of all, let's make sure that's clear. Like, we're not like that. So how is it that we're able to find a sense of meaning and a sense of worth without having to run to these things? Like, we can't just blame it all on past traumas of slavery or whatever it is, or even just within your family, past generational trauma. You making a choice. You making your own choice to do these things. Like, stop blaming it on other stuff and do better.
Yeah, but even to that point though, because a lot of these hip hop moguls or cultural influencers, they don't pay for these clothes, like Balenciaga, Gucci and stuff. They'll send them clothes. Like, they'll, you know what I'm saying? Like Kim Kardashian, I doubt she's going and buying all her Balenciaga pieces. Kanye got the whole rack full of Balenciaga. Like, they'll send them stuff because they know the power of influence that they have over urban culture. Just the same thing I was saying before. We haven't had a Martin Luther King or Malcolm X since hip hop culture got birthed in the 80s. Ever since then, we haven't had no strong black leaders.
I'll say this, but hopefully we won't get too far down this rabbit hole, because we can go for a while. Hopefully we can stay on topic. But I'll say, so I was watching the James Brown movie yesterday, right? And it's not bad. It was 2 hours long. It wasn't bad. But there was a line that somebody said, and they said that you are the show and I am the business. So you pretty much, you dance and you perform and you do all this.
Chuck and jive.
Chuck and jive, but I'm controlling it. So it's just like DTA said, or Fortune, they're just pretty much just saying, yo, I got, what I'm saying? Boom, you see me. But it's just but what do you have for real though? Outside of that, why are you trying to, are you trying to make up for something? Why are you spending your last on this? And I'm not going to, say all African Americans, it could just be anybody, right? It's just a mindset, man. It's just, some people just have a different mindset to think because I can get this, then I'll be able to have this, right? So,
and I seen too a clip as we start kind of wrapping it up a little bit. One of the owners from Universal Music Group was saying how he made billions from the hip hop industry, from the music industry, and it's he said that they had went and they signed who it was, Def Jam. They had signed. They signed Cash Money. and it was another big brand or a big label that they had signed early on, and how he was saying they made billions from the music. And it's like, you know, they were perpetuating like all of the stuff that was happening, all of the violence and whatever, but they didn't care, like, because they was making the money, and then they giving these people a piece of it who never had anything, coming from the hood and the ghettos. And, you know, now they made $100 million. And it's like, you give somebody who ain't never had nothing, who don't care about religion or a relationship with God for real, $100 million, they going to wear whatever you want to wear, and they're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
They sell their soul.
Look at bro that was on the Breakfast Club. I don't remember his name, but how he was talking about, like, you know, there's an epidemic of young people that's losing their life. And then they will start talking about the things that they was rapping about. And then Charlamagne asked him, like, so, you know what I'm saying, why are you signing these guys? And then my man started doing the moonwalk back, just like, well, you know, I do have a family, you know, and I was like, yo, so your livelihood is obviously way more important, right? It's way more important. You're being able to drive your Mercedes Benz and your Ferraris is way more important than the lives of these people that's actually dying because of what's being said on a track.
Yeah, and to me, I think it's like covert, like, you know, not even just racism, but I mean, I think it's like a definite form of it, because it's like they don't care about the societies, the lives that's destroyed, and nothing like that. They live in privately, making billions of dollars off of this stuff, and they just like, man, whatever. You know, they're gonna continue doing it. We're gonna continue making this money, and you know, it ties going back into the Balenciaga thing, because those brand owners, they don't care nothing about like these black celebrities, but they'll use them as a catalyst to continue to pour it into minority culture, to, you know, because they're the ones that's buying this crap. It's not like, you know, not for nothing. I don't see the other side, like, you know. Go ahead.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, no, and just to add to that, like, I mean, this is all a system, man. Like, I mean, just to tie it back in, I think they got a lawsuit for this stuff, but like they're like passing the lawsuit on to like a different company where they're blaming it on, and that company's blaming it on somebody else. It's a whole legal mess right now if you look into it, because like, and so that just like plays into it. They're probably gonna get off. They're probably gonna get some kind of thing. They're probably gonna get slapped on the wrist. They're probably gonna get nothing to it. But the fact is, their name is being talked about. They're getting money on it, and they don't care.
Hey, the last one I want to mention real quick is this designer named Gio Forbes, and he has a newer clothing line out called Purple, the Purple brand. I don't know if y'all don't really keep up with the culture that much, but like, they got like a lot of people wearing these purple jeans. It's not actually the color purple, but the brand is called Purple. And the jeans, I'm not gonna lie, they look pretty fire, but like, it's this whole new brand called Purple that he's pushing. And he did like a collaboration with Rihanna, with Puma and Fenty, and he's a part of it too. Like, because his Instagram is private, but you know, the detectives, the social media detectives, and went and put his IG on blast, and he got pictures of like children getting choked, and you know, like blood in bathtubs and all kind of stuff that's like depicting children in a negative way. And you know, here's another designer, top designer, pushing a brand onto the culture who's a part of, you know, this satanic type of ritualistic stuff that's happening. So,
hey man,
it's everywhere, man.
Yeah, they trying to choke. You know, they trying to choke the greatness of God's people at the bottom, man. Like, as when they're kids, like trying to get rid of them. You know, it's crazy, man. Like the kid, like I said before, man, the devil is after, I'm gonna say our kids, right? Because it's a community. You know, my niece, my nephews, Mike, Fortunato. You know what I'm saying? Y'all two fathers, man. They after the kids, man. Like, you know, once us DTH, Levi, once we get our kids, man, like, I don't know what we gonna be up against, man, because it's just getting crazy and crazier out here, man.
Sure. For
real. I really feel like it's like, you know, Kyrie Irving had some shoes on the other day where he blacked out the Nike checks, and it was like, I'm free. And it's just like, I feel like we're going to be caught in that space where it's like, dang, what do we wear for real when we trying to step out? And you know what I'm saying? Because now it's like a lot of these brands are tied into certain things that's like not of God. And it's like, it's important to be distinctive and be a part of the way and not, but it's difficult, man. Go ahead, DCH.
Nah, I was just gonna say we just gotta go like Michael Joseph, hit up Payless, man. We'll be fine.
That's right. Payless at Kmart.
Yeah, y'all on with Payless.
Okay, yeah.
Well, this has been another powerful hour of the Hold Your Point podcast, man, as we kind of discuss a little bit of some of the Balenciaga Report and what's happening, man, and what's unfolding. As always, man, stay vigilant, stay woke, because the enemy is a roaring lion seeking who he can devour in a myriad of ways, plenty of different ways, man. And, the word says that ultimately, I'm a paraphrase, but, the elect could be sleep and get swept away. So, it's important for us to kind of stay alert, like the 5 wise virgins and not the ones that fell asleep. Because if you fall asleep, you might be sleeping forever, man. This has been another episode of the Hold Your Point podcast. We are the Hold Your Point podcast crew. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you find us at: YouTube, Spotify. Shout out to all of our top subscribers and fans on YouTube. We see you guys. And until next time, man, we out of here.
All righty.